healthy, got wealthy, and even got wise. That sweet Kangen water open up my eyes, satisfying for the body, gratifying for the mind. Kangen water for the rest of my life. Kangen water quenches your thirst. Kangen water feeds your soul. Kangen water inspiring your dreams. Kangen water for the rest of my life. Let's unify with Chi spirit. Kangen water will set you free. Let's unify with Chi spirit. Kangen water will set you free. Let's unify with Chi spirit. Let's follow Mr. O philosophy. Look within 'cause you wanna win. Join the Kangen Nation. Kangen Nation, we're everywhere. All around the world, water we share. Changing one life at a time. With compassion for mankind. Well, I love you so, you gotta know. Hope you don't mind me preaching.
Hey, sisters and brothers, I have a new sponsor, my friends Gary and Marilou from alkalinewatersogood.com. They are international Kangen water distributors. Kangen water is delicious water created from Enagic's innovative water technology. Enagic is a 56-year-old Japanese company with 40 offices in 23 countries, including an office in Manila and 8 offices in the U.S., and it is the leading manufacturer of alkaline ionizers and water filtration machines in the world. Not only do these devices filter your tap water, but they also produce ionized alkaline and acidic waters through electrolysis. These waters can be used for various purposes, including drinking, cooking, beauty, and cleaning. Can you imagine never buying bottled water again? The plastic in bottled water often contains BPA and other chemicals which are proven to be hazardous to your health. And how much fun is it lugging cases of it from the market, recycling it, and you know, plastic is an environmental nightmare. According to Gary, it's also a great way to add an additional income stream. He's been selling machines for over 12 years internationally, and everyone needs the healthiest water in the world. So folks, if you have any questions about Kangen water, check out their website at alkalinewatersogood.com. That's alkalinewatersogood.com. Or you can email them at gary@garyballin.com. Gary Ballin with 2 L's.com.
You're listening to the Wolf's Den Radio Show. Talk.
Hello, sisters and brothers. Once again, this is WDRS Talk, the Wolf's Den Radio Show Talk. Thank you for joining me. I am your host, Wolf Hamora, and it is episode 16 on this humble podcast of mine. And it is going to be another chapter of Stories from the Road. And it is a program that I do every other week in between interview episodes. And so I hope you have been listening to the podcast. This story is going to be a pretty long one. And before I get to it, I just want to thank the sponsors again, Gary Ballin and Kangen Water. So do check them out. You heard the ad at the top of the show. So please check them out. Those water filters are really, really good. And it's great for your home. So check them out. Aside from that, some good news that my patient, I'm a caregiver, so my patient, she got her first vaccine for the coronavirus, the Pfizer, and we went to a university called Soka University, and they converted their gym into a not really triage, but dispensing station for the vaccine. It was really well organized. We had to walk a little bit, but because it was on a campus, but it was so efficient. We got out of there from the moment we registered, and she got her injection. Plus all the walking probably took about 20 minutes, or maybe 25. So really efficient. And if you can get your vaccine already, go ahead and do it. It's the best way to fight coronavirus when everyone gets their vaccine. And if you're living in the States, go check out this website called Othena. OTHENA.com, Othena.com, and you can schedule your vaccination there. Even though you're not 65 and above, you can still get in there. So you can have your name waiting in line. So when it's time for your age bracket, then you're set to go. So check it out, Othena.com. And please continue to be vigilant against coronavirus. Wash your hands, hand sanitizer, wear that mask, and of course, boost your immune system. Take vitamin C, vitamin D, take zinc, turmeric, all that good stuff, to help you boost your immune system. Drink lots of water, lots of liquid, and try not to eat too much sugar. So anyway, that's all the business before the stories. I'm not sure if there's anything else that I wanted to mention. Not really. Just that, yeah. Oh, by the way, there are other podcasts there produced by other Filipinos. So please do check them out. There is the Pinoy Rock podcast by my good friend Tolitz, and he goes by DJ Tulisan, and he has a really great podcast. You should check it out, Pinoy Rock Podcast, on Spotify. And also Paco's Place, hosted by Paco Paco, good friend of mine too, from back in the day, and he has a great podcast. It's over on YouTube and also Spotify. So check him out, Paco's Place. So please support all these Pinoy podcasts. And also, I think Perf De Castro has a podcast as well, but it's more instructional, guitar instructional. So do check him out as well. So support Pinoy podcasts everywhere they are, even if they're in the Philippines or if they're in Europe. Just as long as it's a Filipino expressing himself, it's always a good thing to support that. All right, here we go. Stories from the Road, Part 5. I think it's Part 5 already. And this one is Wolfgang in Japan. When we signed to Sony Music in 1996, the only factor that we told the managing director Wally Chamsey for us to sign with Sony was, can you take us international? Can you promote our music so much that it will reach people from outside the Philippines? And he said yes, and that's why Wolfgang signed with Sony Music. So we did our Semenelan album. That was the first Sony album of Wolfgang. And then the third album is Würm, the concept album. And so Wally invites us to Sony Music to give us some good news. And the good news is that there was a Sony Music conference happening in Tokyo, and that there would be a showcase of all the representatives of each Asian country that had Sony Music in it. So pretty much all of Southeast Asia, as well as China, was going to send an artist or a band over to Tokyo for that showcase. And of course, Wally decided that Wolfgang would be the one to represent Sony Music Philippines. And the prize of that showcase is that whoever was chosen by Sony Music Japan, they would release the album. They would release the album of that artist. So we were very excited. It's like, fuck yeah, let's do this. We're going to Japan. Man, this is like the first international trip of Wolfgang. And, we did it through our music. We did it through the help of Sony Music and Wally and all of the people there who worked there back then. And, so I think the other countries that were going to be involved were Indonesia, Malaysia, China, Thailand, Singapore, and I think another one, maybe Vietnam. Vietnam was there. Vietnam sent a coalition as well. So, I don't really remember much of getting there because it's all a blur. Because I just remember that from the airport we had to take a train to get to a bus station, and then our transportation. I don't really remember, but the trip to the airport from the airport to our hotel in Tokyo was just eye opening. When you live and grow up in a third world country, when you go to a first world country like Japan and you see all the what it's like to live there, and it was just amazing. All high tech. It was the first time I ever saw those automobile brand Ion, and it's a car that looks like a toaster. So it's like, oh shit, look at that! It's a toaster on wheels. I'm sure Americans have seen that car. I don't think they've ever had those cars in the Philippines, but it's a funny looking car, and you see all these things in Japan that are great. Modern, high tech, and just really cool, man. So anyway, we get to, I think we arrive on Friday or Saturday, and I think the showcase was the same evening, so we didn't really stay overnight before the show. So we stayed in one hotel. I really don't remember this first trip so much. I remember the performance and all, but anything else I forget. But so we all the artists shared transportation, so it was like a big, not really a full bus, but a multi-person vehicle, not as huge as a bus, but pretty big, and all the artists were there, and we weren't really conversing with anybody. So we get to the venue, and it's a really nice concert hall. No chairs. It's more like a conference hall and they put a stage on it, and of course the back line and the sound system and all of that. Of course, it was high tech. I brought my own cymbals and my own snare drum. I remember that. And it was just a very simple drum set that everybody shared. And so we get there, we meet the head honchos of Sony Music Japan. My gosh, these guys are fucking the big shots of Sony Music, And It was cool, you know. I mean, Japanese. I mean, the people. We weren't really friendly with the other artists because not everybody spoke English. You know, as you can understand, other Asian countries, they don't really speak English as well as Filipinos do. But anyway, aside from, of course they do speak English, but hey, whatever. But we weren't really friendly with the other bands at the first, of course, you know, strangers. So we do our set. I think we were not really first. I think we were in the middle. And we do our set, and it was a set of 5 songs. And we do stuff from Semenilin, and some maybe I think we do Sanctified, and then Bought and Sold, and probably, of course, we didn't do any of the Tagalog songs. And I'm not sure what else we played, but we played 5 songs. Felt good. We gave it our all, you know. Represented the Philippines, and then we got down, and the next band came up, and then so after the whole showcase, everyone was hanging out outside the hall, and you know, drinks were abound. That was the first time I ever tasted Asahi beer. Oh, my earphones fell. Oh yeah, that was the first time I drank Asahi beer. Strong ass beer. I'm sure everybody out there has already tried Asahi. Strong beer, and it loosened everybody up because everybody, all the bands, when the whole showcase was over, I guess everybody was relieved that their job was done. It's like work is done, you know. I'm sure everyone was nervous going in there, but now that the whole thing was, the whole thing was over, it's in the hands of Sony Music Japan. Now it's just time to party. And we did party a bit. We drank and then got loose, and then started being friendly with the other bands, you know, the other band members, other artists. Some of them knew how to speak English, but barely, really barely. And the Chinese people, they spoke zero English at all. So I don't know. I don't think we even tried. But when we got back into the bus to go back to the hotel, everybody was laughing and shouting and just hollering, and no one was really speaking English. I mean, except for the guys from Wolfgang, you know. But I guess the other people could understand but not speak. But I don't know. The alcohol just made it easier for everybody to just hang out and laugh and be friendly. It was a really good and positive thing that all these Asian people who have totally different cultures from one another were there, and the binding connection was music. And at the end of the day, when work was finally done, when we did our jobs, everyone was friendly to one another. It's like, it's like, hey man, we're all lucky to be here, and good luck to anyone who gets this. So I don't really remember the trip back home, that first Japan trip. Anyway, what I do remember is that we got picked, and that was exciting news again from Wally. We got picked. Würm was going to be released in Japan, and we were going to go to Japan to promote it, to do a promotional tour. And this was just, we were over the moon. And this time, this was going to be a week-long, a totally week-long event, because we had 2 shows to do. The first show would be in Osaka, and on the first Saturday, we got there. And the second show would be the next Saturday in Tokyo. And in between Saturday and the first show and the second show, it's all press. It's all press. My gosh, people, I have never talked to so much professional press and music press in my life, and and after that I never had. It was amazing. But anyway, let me pedal back a bit. I'm getting ahead of myself here in the story. So I think the trip was for July of 1998, and we get to, of course, we board the plane. And aside from Wolfgang, we had our manager at the time, and we also had our roadie, Glenn Cornelio. We were allowed to take one technician with us, and Glenn was the all-around guy. He was a guitarist, but of course he knows how to play bass. He also understands drums, so he was the best guy to bring of all the roadies in Roadies Inc. So it was going to be an exciting adventure, and we get to Osaka. That was the first destination, and we're driven from the airport to our hotel, which is in downtown Osaka. Well, not downtown Osaka, but the business district of Osaka. So a lot of tall buildings, and it was, I think, Friday. So I noticed that the streets were empty. It's like, well, I guess it's like the business district, so it's like I would compare it to, Makati Business District, and on the weekdays. Sorry, my earphones are falling out. On the weekends, I mean, there's hardly anyone there because there's no work, there's no office, right? So it's the same thing. And so we get to our hotel, and I think our handler, man, I forget his name. He was a really cool guy. I'm going to put his name on the description, so check it out. I can't remember it right now. But anyway, so our handler, he leaves us in the hotel for us to rest a bit. I think it was a 2-hour break, and he said he'll come back for us, and then we can go and explore the city and do all the fun stuff. So us being, this is the first time in Tokyo, it's like, rest? We're not gonna rest. It's like, so we just check in the hotel, and I guess we just freshen up a bit and maybe lie down a bit, and then everyone's like, hey man, we're hungry, let's go find some food, man. So we go out and we start walking and through the streets of Osaka Business District, and we couldn't find anything. We were just walking and walking and walking, and there was no one out. There was nobody out. It was the weirdest thing. There was nobody. There was nobody out. It's like, where the fuck is everybody? And we couldn't find any restaurant. We couldn't find any cafe. We saw one sign, one really small neon sign that said bar. And it's like, well, there's not going to be food in that bar, There's, Japanese don't eat while they drink, and if they drink liquor. But anyway, so we keep on walking, and we're like, fuck this, man. There's nobody here. There's no fucking restaurants anywhere. So we walk back to the hotel, and we wait for our handler to come back, and he picks us up again after 2 hours. And I think, and we don't even get in the car, and then we go walking again, and then he's like, let's go, let's have some lunch. And we were like, dude, we went out and there's nothing here. And this is a Japanese guy. So, and then one thing I have to remind you people, I have to tell you people, that all of the people in Sony Music who were going to work directly with the band and Wally learned how to speak English just for that. Let that sink in. Whoever was going to be in direct contact with the band, our handler, one of them, they had to learn how to speak English. at least very basic English so that they could communicate. My gosh, it was amazing because he spoke English. It wasn't fluent. He had an accent, but we could understand each other. And then, we were like, oh, that it was only after the fact that Wally Chamsey told us this. So anyway, we walk, and we're like, you know what? Like in my mind, we're like, yeah, dude, there's nothing here, man. We already tried it, being fucking smart ass in my mind. And then we get to this staircase that leads downward. This is from the street, street level. And then I look down and like, oh shit. And we keep on going. There's like 2 flights of steps going down. And when we got to the bottom, it was all there. It was all there. Underground. Everybody who was supposed to be up on the ground, on street level, they were underground because everything was underground. So probably all these buildings around us in business district, you could go down all the way down to the basement. And then when you get out the elevator, it's a whole fucking city down there. And it's bustling. It's like, I'm amazed. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because above ground on street level, it's so quiet. There's nobody out there. It's quiet. You could hear birds chirping. But when we got underground, man, everybody was there. It was all restaurants and shops and people in business attire coming home from, coming and going from the office. And so, fuck, man. So we get into one of the restaurants. We have this awesome Japanese meal. And then we go back to the hotel, and we're like, and this hotel that we stayed in Osaka was really nice. And so anyway, that was the first eye opener of Japan. And so the show was, I think, the next day. I mean, not the next day, but the same day, because it was a Saturday. We got there on Saturday, so it was going to be at Tower Records in Osaka. And mind you, Tower Records is still alive in Japan, especially in Tokyo. I don't know about Osaka, but in Tokyo, there's still an 8-story building that sells all kinds of music there. So check it out. Anyway, but this time, this first gig wasn't going to be a full band show. It was going to be an acoustic show with Manuel on acoustic guitar and Basti on vocals. And it was going to be a 3 to 5 song set in the store. And it was great, We got there, Tower Records in Osaka. I would love to go back to Osaka. We just stayed there I think it was just overnight. And I would love to go back there. So we set up, and the one thing that is great about Japanese people that I noticed is that if there's a happening, this is what I observed. When we got there was already the amps and the house speakers were already set up, and then Manuel brought his acoustic guitar out, and he was sound checking, and they did a quick sound check with Basti. And there were already fans. Not fans, but people who were in the store who were like, oh, look, there's a band going to set up. There's a band going to play. So we're going to just hang out and check them out. So, and they didn't wait until we started. They weren't shy. They were just there right in front of us, right in front of the stage already while sound check was going. And yeah, there were mostly young women, which was great. Of course, you always want to attract young women when you're playing in a band. And then Manuel and Basti, they start their set. You would imagine they would play songs like "Center of the Sun," "She Is My Cane," stuff that can be pulled off as a guitar duo. A duo with acoustic guitar. And they did well. It was really well received, even though the Japanese people there, the crowd that gathered, they did not know who we were. They did not know who we were. And they didn't care. They were just interested. It's a great trait of Japanese people, They were just interested. And they were saying, okay, we'll check him out. And they didn't leave, And so when the set ended, of course, we were selling the album at the store. They got, all of them got a copy of Würm. And they went to, got autographs taken from Basti and Manuel. And of course, they would say, well, this is the rest of the band. This is Wolf and Mon. So we would sign autographs on their albums, on their knapsack, on their backpacks. It was awesome, man. It was just awesome to go into a different culture and be accepted with no pretense, no reservations, no expectations. It was great. It was a great feeling to be like, wow, it's like shit, So that was a great event for the first day of the week-long tour, if you could call it that. So I don't really remember much after that, but I do remember the trip going to Tokyo from Osaka, and we rode the bullet train, which is one of the best experiences of my life.
Hey, sisters and brothers, I have a new sponsor, my friends Gary and Marilou from alkalinewatersogood.com. They are international Kangen water distributors. Kangen water is delicious water created from Enagic's innovative water technology. Enagic is a 56-year-old Japanese company with 40 offices in 23 countries, including an office in Manila and 8 offices in the U.S., and it is the leading manufacturer of alkaline ionizers and water filtration machines in the world. Not only do these devices filter your tap water, but they also produce ionized alkaline and acidic waters through electrolysis. These waters can be used for various purposes, including drinking, cooking, beauty, and cleaning. Can you imagine never buying bottled water again? The plastic in bottled water often contains BPA and other chemicals which are proven to be hazardous to your health. And how much fun is it lugging cases of it from the market, recycling it, and plastic is an environmental nightmare. According to Gary, it's also a great way to add an additional income stream. He's been selling machines for over 12 years internationally, and everyone needs the healthiest water in the world. So folks, if you have any questions about Kangen water, check out their website at alkalinewatersogood.com. That's alkalinewatersogood.com. Or you can email them at gary@garyballin.com. Gary Ballin with 2 L's.com.
And I would love to do it again. Ride that train, and I am so disappointed in the United States that this country does not have a bullet train like Japan yet, and they're not even thinking about it. It's really, man. If you want to impress me, America, build a bullet train from New York to LA, and then I'll be impressed. But anyway, so it was a great ride from Osaka to Tokyo. It took 4 hours. And of course, you pass by Mount Fuji, and it's just the wonder of the world. It's like, wow, you're there and you're looking at it, and it's like fucking Mount Fuji. Wow. It's like you bow down in respect to that kind of stuff. So we get to Tokyo, and we're dropped off at the hotel, which is a really cool looking hotel. And our handler says that, when bands, international bands come over, and not the big name ones, like touring bands, this is where they stay. So there are a lot of artists, international artists that stay in that same hotel. It's a go-to for accommodation, and it was a really cool hotel. Everything in fucking Japan is cool, man.
And so, okay, where are we? The hotel. And then it was funny because we had, I think, 3 rooms and 2 people in each room. And every time we would go up to the room as a group, we would, you would be walking on carpet. So, and it's cold weather. It was winter time. It was really cold, man. It was really cold. We every time you touch the handle of the hotel room, you get static electricity, man. So it would be in the 3 rooms, whoever touches the fucking thing first gets electrocuted, and we all got electrocuted at the same time. It's like we fucking never learned. It was funny stuff. Anyway, so we would hang out in one of the rooms and watch TV because it was just boring, It was just boring in the hotel room, and we usually would wait for our handler because we didn't know where we were, and they were saying it's like, you just wait here for us so that we can just take you around first. Don't go out first because you might get lost and stuff. So okay, so we watched TV in Mon's room, I think, and this is about 6:00 in the evening, 7 p.m. And it's funny because all the commercials are not, well, not all, but a lot of the commercials are all, especially if it's for liquor or perfume or cologne or cars. These are locally produced Japanese commercials, okay, not imported from America. But the people in the commercials are Hollywood actors. We saw I think a brandy commercial, and it was Bruce Willis on the promoting it. And it was a Japanese brand, so it wasn't a commercial from the States, being shown in Tokyo. And there were a couple of other commercials like that with Hollywood actors. You're like, wow, that's different. Never knew about that. It's side business for all of these actors, because I'm sure that's a lot of money right there. And what the funny thing was, what we saw on TV was, there was this channel that was showing fetish videos, and not sexual, okay? Fetish is different from sexual, so it wasn't porn, it wasn't pornography. So pretty much it was Japanese girls, young Japanese women in high school uniforms. I'm sure you know the image. Mini skirts, high knee-high socks, with the pigtails, the ponytails, but this time they would be, how should I say this? Like a girl would be going up the stairs, just going up the stairs in this outfit, but the camera angle is up her skirt, and it's showing her panties while she's walking up the stairs. And that's it. That's all it is. She doesn't take off her clothes. She'll just walk up the stairs and then go walk up another stairs, or just walking, and the camera is up her shirt, her skirt. So we're like, okay, well, that's weird. I mean, it's nice to look at, of course, but it's weird. And this is like primetime TV, 7 p.m., And then another shot was the same girl or another girl. She was on a bicycle, and she was just driving around. But then the camera, oh my gosh, the camera was placed in the base of the handlebar facing her crotch. So the camera angle is of her crotch and her panty while she's pedaling the bike up her skirt. And it was just bizarre. Of course, we enjoyed it. Why not? We were all men. And we were just like, wow, what is this? This is so weird, man. 7 p.m. And it was just weird. So anyway, that was weird. So if you go to Japan and you want to see local TV, check it out. That's at 7 p.m. and you might see all those fetish programs. It's weird. So anyway, like I said, the whole week was planned for press. And my gosh, like I said before, it was just one interview after another. And it was all these music magazines. And they would say, okay, this is a reporter from this magazine, a reporter from that magazine, a writer from this magazine. And back in 1998, the internet was very new. It wasn't as high tech as it is now. So magazines, publications were still popular. And since this was Sony Music, Japan promoting Wolfgang, they had to promote us on every single music magazine. And I think every day would be 3 to 4 interviews. And when I say interviews, these writers, reporters, whatever, they research the band before they ask us anything. They listen to the album Würm. They read our bio. So when they come to us with questions, these are very substantial questions. Not like what we were experiencing back in the Philippines. And I'm not sorry to say this, but interviews back in the Philippines, they suck. It's always like, how did you get your name? When did you start? Who are the members in the band? Yada yada, fucka, yada yada. And they don't know what to ask because they don't really care about the band. That's the problem. We've had a couple of good interviews in the Philippines, but most of it was really just, it's like all those information that you're asking right now, you should have known before interviewing the band. The band is not supposed to tell you when they started, when they're already 8 years old. It's like you should know that already, dude. Anyway, so included with all those press, we did radio guestings as well in 2 stations, and we were the guests of the 2 top rock DJs in Japan, DJ Masa, and what was the other guy's name? DJ Masa and DJ... Gosh, I forget the second guy's name. But these guys were the top rock DJs in Japan. And we were going to guest on their shows. And, oh my God, this is just... It's just amazing, It's amazing when a record company really works for the artist. When they put their money where their mouth is to support the band. And so we get on the first DJ. I forget. DJ Masa and DJ... Oh, I forget. I'm going to try and remember. Anyway, so he had a translator. Of course, we always traveled around with a lady translator because Japanese don't really speak English. They don't speak English at all unless they need to. And like I said, when they need to, they will learn. So he would field all these questions. It's like the recording of the album, blah, 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 blah. And I would be the one, I was the designated spokesperson with regards to the radio interviews. And so I was speaking, answering his questions. And then finally, he delved into the album Würm. And since, Sony Music was promoting it as a concept album, the more interested Japanese are going to be. Oh, concept album, huh? So he was asking questions about the album, and I finally gave up because I didn't have any more answers. I had to let Basti and Manuel and Mon speak because they were the one. Some of these questions were for them, and I really couldn't answer correctly or fully. And I just ran out of things to say because this guy was so meticulous in his interview that I'm like, I give up. I can't answer anymore. This is too much for me. Manuel, Basti, you guys take over. And that was a good thing. It's not a negative thing. And it was great. And then I think I did another interview. We separated. I think the other guys did other interviews with publications or with another radio station, while I went over to another radio station with DJ Masa, and I'm gonna post a picture on there while I'm talking about this. Pictures on in Japan. So DJ Masa is on the screen right there, and it was the same thing, man. Great interview, great questions, and very hospitable, very kind, and just a rock and roller. These people, I mean, Japanese, they know their rock and roll, man. And they will give you a chance if they know that you're serious about your craft. They'll give you a chance. All right. So anyway, now where are we? So yeah, press every day, and then aside from when press is done, we're all free for the day, and we just fucking. The right word for this is gallivanting. The boys in Wolfgang are just gallivanting all over Tokyo. Of course, with our handler, he's helping us out. So anyway, we go back. I think we go back to the hotel first on one day, in one of these days. And we were walking from the main street. We got dropped off by the cab. And I want to tell you that the cabs back then, of course, until now, when you approach a cab, they open the door automatically. And it was like, whoa, this is so cool, man. You don't have to touch the door, I guess. It's a sanitary thing for them as well. But yeah. And another thing that I noticed when we would eat in restaurants, especially local restaurants and not touristy restaurants, is that, when it's time to go to the restroom and you need to do, you need to do your business, and you get in the toilet's not there, man. It's not a throne. Japanese toilets are on the ground. They're made of marble and all of that, but you gotta squat on the floor. And I'm like, oh, how the fuck do I do this, man? I mean, shit. Oh, fuck. And of course you gotta go, right? So, shit. And apparently, nowadays, people are discovering that is the perfect way to take a shit. Is to squat. And if you want to take a really good shit, squat. But anyway, yeah, that was weird. That was weird for me. But it's great to learn about other people's culture, man. It's so great. I had so much fun. So we would go to restaurants. Just excellent food every time. And so anyway, one time we were going back to the hotel from all the interviews, and we get dropped off from the main road, and it's a quick walk uphill to the hotel. And while we were going up, I just felt like I wanted to race, run and race to the hotel. And then I just go, anybody want to race to the hotel? And of course, Manuel, being Mr. Competitive, he's not going to back down. It's like, all right, let's go. So I just start running. He starts running, and then we run. We fucking haul ass uphill. And then we run into the lobby. And when I get to the lobby to get our keys, there's a group of white people in the lobby waiting to get checked in as well. And they're all decked out in rock and roll clothes. They have spiky hair. One guy's got green hair. And I'm like, whoa, who's this? Oh, so there's another band in town. And then when I get to the front desk, I looking for my keys, and I look to my right, and right beside me it's Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day. And I look at him and like, oh, and I don't say anything. I don't want to put him on the spot. And then I look at the rest of the people on the lobby, and it's the rest of Green Day. It's Mike Dirnt and Trey Cool, and I think they had 2 other people in their crew, or 3 other people. And it's like, holy shit, Green Day staying in the same hotel as Wolfgang. Woohoo! Check it out, baby. So I ran back out, and the guys, the other guys were just walking. And I go, dude, fucking Green Day's in the lobby, man. And then it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? So everyone goes in, trying to be all calm and cool. They're all like starstruck. And mind you, this is Green Day Dookie. I don't think the second album came out yet. So they weren't big. They were not stadium fillers yet. They were not arena fillers, actually, or even maybe theater crowd, but not an arena yet. They weren't that big in Japan. So they stayed in that hotel. So that was cool. So we just got freshened up, and then we went back out again with our handler. We just went and explored Tokyo. I'm going to flash some photos on here. And then we get to a general shop, where you buy useless cool shit. Useless, cool Japanese shit, that kind of store, and they had everything there. And of course, since that apparently was the shop that all the handlers bring bands, Green Day was there too. They were there before us. So we got there, and then while we were going out, Green Day was coming into the store, and like, oh, you again, but I didn't say hello. I was too starstruck to even say hi and be friendly or whatever. So we explored the rest of Tokyo, and what else would happen? So we get to Saturday, the day of the gig. And it is in this small concert hall that has a stage and no chairs, just a big space. And we get to our sound check, and the local crew is already there. And before I say anything else, before we left for Japan, we gave our technical writer for the show. And a technical writer, for those of you who don't know, is anything that the band needs on the stage regarding equipment, amplifiers, mic stands, mics, whatever you need, you put in your technical writer, and you submit that to whoever you're going to have a show with. And they try their best to fulfill everything. And since we were playing in Japan, they fulfilled every single thing on our list. So when we get to the venue, all the back line is already set up, and the drum set is there. And the drum set that I used, I was just testing them if they were going to fall for it. But the drum set that I used for that show, I patterned it after the drum set of Neil Peart during that time, which is pretty much the same thing, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 toms from the smallest to the biggest. 7 toms, man. And then I had roto toms. I had 4 roto toms in the side. And how many cymbals? 5 cymbals. Everything that I asked for, they fulfilled it, and I was blown away. I'm like, how the hell am I going to play that drum set? Because that's, my style. That drum set is a little too big for my style, but that's like whatever, bahala na. Excuse me. So we do our sound check, and while we're doing our sound check, the technicians on the stage are listening to the monitors. The monitor guys just doing the monitor. We don't have to tell him anything because they know what they're doing, man. It was so efficient. It was so awesome. And my gosh, it was such a great experience. Anyway, so I think we go out to dinner again and come back before the show, and we stay in the dressing room. And it's cold as fuck. It is cold as fuck, man. We had a hair dryer. We requested for a hair dryer in the dressing room so that we can fucking warm our hands up every now and then, because we know we did. Being Filipino, you don't know how to dress cold, So we didn't have any gloves. Our jackets were all fucking thin jackets, no thermal jackets or whatsoever. I think Basti had thermal underwear, so he was fine. But I was freezing my ass off, and I had and I was wearing shorts for the show. That's how my stage persona was. I was wearing shorts, so it's extra cold. So what the style is, so it's this concert venue is in a very busy street, and there are barkers outside the venue who are giving out flyers to anyone who's passing by, and they're just saying "Banned from the Philippines, Wolfgang, banned from the Philippines, banned from the Philippines," and whoever wants to go inside, they'll check it out for free because it's free. It's a free show. So by the time it was time for us to play, we get down. There was a lot of not it wasn't full, but there was a lot of people who were there out from the street who came to check us out and gave us a chance. And a lot of the people from Sony were there, Sony Music Japan. So we played 90 minutes, man. We played a 90-minute set. And it was fun. And we could tell from some of the reactions of the people in who were watching, they liked some of the songs. Some of the songs were like, but some of the songs they were. I distinctly remember a guy headbanging to one of the songs. So he was like he was connecting with it, and it's really, really awesome to experience that when someone from a different culture connects with your music. So awesome. So we end our set, work is done, we go back to the dressing room, get freshened up, go back out. Everyone's in a party mood, work is done. Everyone's from Sony's like, yay, work is done, work is done. And then our handler, he was the nicest guy, man. I really hope I can meet him again if he's still alive. I hope he's still alive. He's a young dude. But he introduced us to his wife, which was really, really sweet of him. His wife was so excited to meet us. I mean, they were all so great. And so, yeah. But before I I completely forgot this. Anyway, the night before, the reason, there was another reason why we were so excited to come to Japan in this second trip is because the night before, Friday night, Tokyo, Japan, the Big Egg, Tokyo Dome, Aerosmith live in concert. Fucking yeah, bitches. So we were like, when we first time we found out that we were going back to Japan, I immediately wanted to watch a concert. So I was like, whoever's going to be playing in Japan that week that we're there, we have to watch them. And it just so happened to be Aerosmith. And I think the tour was for 9 lives. Yeah, 9 lives. And they are a Sony band. At the time. So we asked Wally to ask Sony Music Japan to buy us tickets. And we'll just pay them back. We'll pay them if they can score tickets for us. And we were like, okay. So when we get there, and they did score tickets for us, for everybody, including Wally. So it was maybe Friday night or Thursday night. We watched Aerosmith in Tokyo Dome. 50,000 people. This Tokyo Dome is huge. 50,000 people. Araneta Coliseum can house, I think, 30,000. So imagine 20,000 more people. And it was funny because when we got there, we went to our seats. And we got to our seats, and there were pieces of paper on each chair. So you pick up the chair before you sit down, and you start looking at it, and it's all songs of Aerosmith, and I realized holy shit, it's a set list. It's the set list of the show, and right away I throw it away because I don't want to know the set list before it happens. I want to be surprised. I want to be, I want to be taken aback by playing Sweet Emotion comes on, and I don't know when it's gonna come on. But apparently, the explanation for that is the Japanese people are just so interested in a band like Aerosmith. Like if their press tells them, "Oh, this is really good shit. This band is really good," even if they hardly know them, they're gonna buy a ticket and watch because they've read in these reputable magazines, music magazines, or in the newspaper that Aerosmith is a great band. They're coming over. They're gonna have a show, and they then people who research, and then of course they have the set list, so they know, okay, this is Walk This Way. Walk This Way. Okay, this is Sweet Emotion. This is Janie's Got a Gun. So when I saw the set list, I threw it away right away. I'm like, nope, I can't see that. I do not want to know what they're gonna play. And the show was amazing. Aerosmith rocks, man. Steven Tyler, dude, he was doing all this kung fu shit, all this martial arts moves. He was so limber. He was so flexible. He was so fucking rock star. Everybody, Joe Perry, Tom Hamilton, Brad Woodford, they were all, oh my God, Aerosmith. We were so lucky. It was such a great show. Anyway, so we were asking Wally, it's like, Wally, man, when can we pay back the guys from Sony for the tickets? And Wally's like, nah, it's okay. You're cool. We don't have to pay for it. It's their gift for us. And we were like, oh, okay, that's cool, man. Cool. But what we did not know. So anyway, going back to the show, we did our thing, and we had a really great dinner and party afterwards, after the show, with the head honchos of the main boss of Sony Music Japan, and he was telling stories of meeting people like Paul Rogers of Free, Bad Company, meeting David Bowie, meeting all these rock stars, Freddie Mercury. Oh my God. And he spoke English very well, of course. With a job like that, you must speak English fluently. And we were just having the grandest time because work was over. Everyone who worked on this project was relieved that it ended well. And we were just happy and so thankful. And the next day, Sunday, we get to Narita Airport and we go back to the Philippines. And we get another stroke of luck that there happened to be 3 open seats on business class going back to the Philippines. And if we wanted to get them, and we were like, fuck yeah. So it was myself, Manuel, and our manager at the time. We had champagne on business class going home from Tokyo. And that is, and when we got back, when we were at the airport in Narita, Wally Chamsey finally told us how we actually got those Aerosmith tickets. And what happened was, this is the sweetest thing anybody has done for me. Anybody, even a girlfriend, because girlfriends or whatever loved ones, they you expect them to be sweet to you, but these are total strangers. So what happened was, when the guys from Sony Music Japan, they found out that, hey, the guys from Wolfgang, they want to watch Aerosmith and they want to get some tickets and they'll pay you back. But apparently, by the time we gave them that request, the show was already sold out. Understandably, obviously, and understandably. So what they did was, the guy from Sony Music, I'm not sure if it was the head honcho or maybe just maybe the second in command, said, we're going to pass our hat around, and if any of you can donate your tickets you can donate 6 tickets that are all together, that would be great. And they passed the hat around and they donated their Aerosmith tickets to Wolfgang. That is the sweetest thing that anybody has ever done for me, because these are total strangers. They don't know who the fuck we were. We probably never met them. We went to the Sony music office in Tokyo, but I'm not sure if we actually met those people who gave up their tickets for us. And we were just all blown away. And we went home. It's another story to tell. And I really hope that I can go back to Japan. So that's it, folks. Another chapter of Stories from the Road, Wolfgang in Japan. I hope you enjoyed that one. It was a great experience. I hope I can get to go back to Japan, like I said, and experience that wonderful country and wonderful culture. So that's it, folks, for now. I'll see you again next week. Thank you very much for your support. Please subscribe to the channels that you're listening to this on, and like the episodes wherever you can like them, because it helps me a lot. And thank you very much for your support. I'll see you next week. Have a great week, Earthlings, and peace, love, rock and roll, legalize weed, and all of that good stuff. All right, bye-bye. Love you guys.